Welcome to Tia's Table, where we talk about making fitness and wellness doable for busy women like you and me. Looking for healthy meal ideas, workout motivation, and good conversation? Don't worry, I got you, girl. Sit back, grab a snack, and let's have some girl talk.
Hey girl, and welcome back to Tia's Table. Today I felt like it would only be right for us to talk about something that's fitting for the new fall weather that is coming to everyone, hopefully, very, very soon, depending on where you live. But I know for us here in Georgia, things are starting to cool down. I know if you live further north, things have definitely cooled down for you guys. And so I think what we're going to talk about today can be extremely helpful for a lot of us for so many different reasons. But before we get into that, if you're new here, I'm Tia. I'm a behavior change specialist, group fitness instructor, and a budding precision nutrition food expert, which means that I can help women develop healthy habits that align with the goals that they want to have for a lifetime. If you are someone who is in need of developing new habits, or you are interested in maintaining maybe the results that you already have and you're looking for a little bit of accountability, ways to catch some momentum, maybe you need help getting more consistent with some of your habits, please feel free to reach out to me at tiavfitness@gmail.com, or you can check out my website, tiavfitness.com. Let's get right into what is on our table for the month of October. I made this and I shared it on Instagram, and people were very intrigued by this particular recipe. And I didn't think that this was going to be all that special or that it would get the response that it got. But, you never know what's going to hit people and what's not. I mentioned a couple episodes back that I had tried the chicken meatballs, the ground chicken meatballs, and they were so good. They were so moist, so flavorful that encouraged me to start swapping out some of my other recipes with ground chicken. So I've tried ground chicken spaghetti, which was absolutely delicious, and no one noticed that it was ground chicken. And so I wanted to also try swapping out our meatloaf because my family loves meatloaf. Like years and years and years ago, I was making meatloaf the traditional way, which was with ground beef, like regular beef, right? And it was good. It was a great meatloaf. As I started trying to eat healthier, I was like, ooh, let me swap this out for ground turkey. And so then I was making it with ground turkey, but it just wasn't what I needed it to be. So then I started mixing the ground turkey with Italian sausage, right? And now this is one of those things where you just have to do what's right for you. Is Italian sausage or sausage in general something that you want to eat all the time? No. Is it going to hurt you to eat it, once or twice a week, the 1 week you have meatloaf? No, girl, it's going to be fine, right? So I mixed my ground turkey with Italian sausage to give it the juiciness that I was missing from the ground beef meatloaf, right? Stay with me. This is how we get to the chicken meatloaf. And so when I tried those chicken meatballs and they were so moist, I was like, well, you know what? A meatball is nothing but a palm-sized meatloaf. So I bet you if I make a meatloaf with ground chicken, it will be very yummy and delicious and moist and all the things. So the next week, I was like, okay, I'm going to try making my meatloaf the same way I make it with ground turkey, but with chicken. And I made it, and oh my gosh, it was so good. So I did the 2 pounds of ground chicken. I did a regular, like 1 pound, the little pack of Italian sausage that they buy you or that they sell you. I went ahead and I mixed it the same way I would do it if I was making it with ground turkey. And it was absolutely delicious. Like, it was amazing. And what I really ended up loving about that meatloaf is that later on in the week, when there was one piece left, I ate it as a sandwich, and it really just spoke to my spirit that I was basically eating a chicken sandwich, and it was so good. So the chicken meatloaf, if your family is a meatloaf family, or if you are interested in adding to your school night carousel of meals. I think that this is a good one. It's so easy. You just mix it all up in a bowl. But girl, don't forget to mix it with forks, right? I like mixing my meatloaf with forks because I feel like it keeps it light, airy, and fluffy. I feel like when you mix meatloaf with your hands, like it gets tight. And there's really no way for me to explain that. I feel like people will know what I'm talking about. Sometimes people will have meatloaf and it's like tight, right? Like the texture of it is like tight. Whereas when you do it with a fork, you mix it with the fork, it's like light and it's fluffy and it's crumbly, like it's just different and it's so good and delicious. And I hope everybody enjoys their chicken meatloaf. The recipe for that is in this month's newsletter. Something else that I want to share that I ate that was absolutely incredible. I took a trip a couple weeks ago to Montreal, and while I was there, I had a lobster omelet for breakfast, and it was amazing. Now, I live in the Atlanta area, and you can get brunch here at a million different places. Let me tell you why I'm not a brunch girl for the most part. Number one, because of the lines and the waits and the reservations and the brunch rules. Like if you live here or anywhere where brunching is like super, super popular, then you already know what I'm talking about. You got to be with your whole party before they sit you down. You got to get there at this time and wait in line. Like you got to get there early. And on the weekends, getting up early is just not what I want to do. I mean, I get up early all week to get those children off to school on time. So on the weekends, I'm not trying to get up early to go eat eggs and pancakes and things that I could very well eat at home if I were willing to wake up and make them, right? So when I was in Montreal, I made sure that I got up, went and had breakfast because I'm like, it's just me. I don't have to worry about getting anyone else up, dressed, ready for this, nothing. I can go to one of these breakfast places, sit down, and I'm going to order myself a really good breakfast. The place that I went to was somewhat kind of like attached to our hotel, but it was kind of like in a mall thing that was also attached to the hotel. And I ordered a lobster omelet that was so decadent and so good. And it was just the right amount of lobster. The eggs were nice and fluffy. They put a hollandaise sauce on the top. They served it with these potatoes that were just the right amount of crisp to them. And the flavors were good. And it was just amazing. I mean, I said to myself, now, if I ever should happen to find myself at a brunch or at a breakfast, where I live, if I ever see this on the menu, I'm going to order this because that was so good that I was very tempted to have it the next day for breakfast. But, we have to do everything in moderation. But I really did think about going back and having it again 2 days in a row because it was just that delicious. Like it was just so good. So if you're ever at brunch, if you can get up and do the whole brunch thing, if you ever see a lobster omelet on the menu, do yourself a favor. Order that on behalf of yourself and me. Eat it for me because I probably won't be at a brunch or a breakfast like that, anytime soon. There is a place near me that has really good breakfast, but they don't have a lobster omelet on the menu. I eat there all the time and girl, it's not on their menu. But if you ever see it on a menu somewhere, please do eat it and think about me. The last thing I want to share for the Tia's Table segment is that a few months ago, we made the corn and shrimp chowder. Remember, we made that from the No Crumbs Left Behind page, right? And it was a yummy summer corn, like bisque kind of thing with bacon and shrimp. I got to eat at a restaurant about a week or so ago. And they had that soup on their menu. Let me just say that the soup that I had, and this was like a nice restaurant, right? The soup that I had at that restaurant tastes identical to the recipe that is on her page. So if you have the newsletter and you go back to whichever month that was that I shared that, it might be August, possibly. July or August, I'm thinking. If you go back to that newsletter and if you like shrimp, you like corn, you like bacon, please consider making that, because when I had it at the restaurant, as I was eating it, the only thing that was different about the two recipes is that the shrimp that I had in the soup at the restaurant, you could tell it had been like pan seared because it had like a nice kind of crust to it. And of course, the soup that we made here at home, we had like dropped the soup into the pot right at the very last minute to just like cook them through. But if I ever make that soup again, I will definitely be taking that note from the restaurant and cooking my shrimp, like pan frying them or like searing them in a pan or whatever, and then adding them to my bowl as I eat them, because that really did just take that soup up another level. It was good. It was probably the best thing about eating at the restaurant that night. And I hardly ever do like written reviews after an experience somewhere, even if it's bad or good or indifferent, whatever. Like I just never really do reviews for restaurants. But our experience at that particular place that night was so bad that I literally wrote them a review. But the highlight to my review was like, girl, at least y'all got that shrimp and corn chowder. Because if it wasn't for that, this whole thing would have been a disaster for me. So if you haven't tried that, I just wanted to bring that up again. It was really, really good the other night when I had it at a restaurant. And it tastes identical to the recipe that she shares on her website. So go check that out if you haven't already. Okay. This month, I want to talk to everyone about getting back to one of the basics of living a healthy lifestyle, right? We're going to take a break from our little adventure to kind of give my body a chance to like rest and reset from doing all the things. And we are going to focus on throwing it back to counting our steps, right? 10,000 steps a day. Sounds like a lot, right? Especially if you sit down all day at work. If you're behind the computer or you're on the phone all day for work, if you are at a desk, the thought of getting 10,000 steps in a day probably feels like a lot for you, right? But I want to encourage everybody to be more flexible in their thinking. So we don't necessarily have to get exactly 10,000 steps a day. You probably just want to say to yourself, okay, well, that's great that's the goal. And that's actually an October challenge. You'll see that in your email that we're going to try to get 10,000 steps a day. But if for you, you sit for the majority of the day, well, then maybe a realistic goal for you is 7,500 steps, right? Something like that. But we just want to aim for something. Now, why are we counting steps again? Why am I trying to bring us back? We thought we had been delivered from counting steps now that everybody has a fitness watch, and we don't maybe think about the whole step thing as much as we used to anymore. Why am I bringing this back, right? Well, let me tell you why. Number one, because fall is here and is the best season out of the whole year. This is the best time if you're going to get out and start walking or running or jogging or strutting your stuff in the name of fitness. This is the best time to do it because the weather is absolutely perfect. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. Hopefully it's not too many rainy days where you are. It's not snowing yet. This is like the best time of the year to like get out there and start getting some steps in, right? Outside of that, walking, I've been talking to the ladies that I coach a lot lately about walking and the power of walking, right? Walking is in my opinion, it's the best form of exercise, right? But it's one of the best things you can do because walking uses so many different parts of your body at a time, right? There are so many different ways to take walking up a level too, right? With the use of wrist weights, ankle weights, they have the vest now. There's so many ways to add to that workout without really having to do much of anything. Walking is free. And walking is something that everybody can do as long as you still have full mobility and the use of like your legs and your feet, right? So when you think about walking, I want people to embrace it. And we're going to talk about running here in a second, but I want people to embrace the idea of getting back out for walks or like walking on your treadmill or whatever, right? I think also with the popularity of things like bikes and treadmills and like the whole workout at home thing, we kind of got away maybe from the conversation around counting steps, and we're going to bring that back this month. So why is it a good thing to try to get those 10,000 steps in a day? Well, let me tell you, when you get 10,000 steps in a day, you are going to encourage your body to lose fat at a faster pace. People who walk and they get those 10,000 steps in a day they tend to have less body fat, right? Because they're moving constantly throughout the day and they're constantly burning energy. Now, when we talk about this 10,000 steps, please also just know that I'm not saying that you got to get all 10,000 of those steps in all at one time, right? No. What we're saying is you'll probably exercise, go for a walk, whatever. And then throughout the rest of your day, we're just being mindful about getting up and moving our bodies and walking around. That means that if you are working at a desk, you work remote from home, and you're seated for much of the day, that just means that at some point during the day, you're going to say to yourself, oh, it's lunchtime. Let me get up and at least walk around for like 5 minutes and stretch my body and move around, right? All of those steps add up. So yes, people that get the many steps in a day, they tend to have less body fat. They tend to be better sleepers. And why is that? Because they're moving more throughout the day. So their bodies are genuinely tired when it is time to rest. Walking is a great mindful activity. It's a great way to just clear your mind, maybe focus your energy and your thoughts on one particular thing. I know that when I'm walking or running, I get so many good ideas for this podcast, for the newsletter, for things I want to do, things I want to try. I'm just thinking a lot more clearly when I'm getting that cardio in. Walking is also a great lifetime exercise. We can literally walk for the rest of our lives, right? So now is the best time to kind of develop the habit of walking and getting that workout in, because, as long as you're able to walk, you can literally you can be the woman that's speed walking the mall. I don't know if malls will exist by the time we're all, old enough for that, but girl, you can grab your kids or your grandkids or a little niece or a little nephew, and you can have someone power walk with you somewhere as you get older. Walking is just easy to do as well, right? When you think about traveling, going on vacation, just living your day-to-day life, when you get busy, walking is still something that you can squeeze into your day. You can even if you don't, let's say you don't have a block of time where you can work out, right? But you notice all throughout the day, you do have the ability to get in maybe 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. Well, walking is definitely something you can do in a hospital hallway. It's something you can do in the parking lot at the office where you work. You can literally walk anywhere. I'm going to reposition my legs. Okay. Sorry, I'm recording this episode on the floor in my closet, and I was sitting crisscross applesauce, and one of my legs has gone to sleep all the way, and my foot was numb. So I had to move. Okay, but back to our conversation. Yes, so walking is something that you can easily make happen several times throughout the day, no matter where you are. It's really a no excuse kind of workout, right? So one question that I get asked pretty often is then how do you become a runner, right? How do you go from walking to running? How can you develop the desire to run? Because for a lot of people, that I feel like they feel as if that has to come first. And I'm just going to kind of share how I became a runner. I went from being somebody who literally would cringe at even the thought of running, right? I didn't even want to talk about running. People would be like, oh, Tia, don't you want to go do this 5K where they throw paint at you, or you walk through foam, or they're going to spray you down with neon paint? And I would be like, girl, no, that does not sound like fun to me. Number one, because you have to run through all that mess. Number two, why would I want to run through slime and mud, right? And then number three, girl, no, because aren't we talking about running? So I was that person. I still have this sweatshirt that says, I hate running, because for a long time I did. Then I started becoming a person who walked. Once I was done having all three of my children, they were all kind of stair steppers right in there together. And I had one of those big Bob, like outdoor double strollers. So I could put 2 of my kids in there at a time. And we were living on a military base, and it was sidewalk friendly. Like there were sidewalks to get everywhere. And part of our day was just going for a walk, because when we were living in Washington State, it was just beautiful. Like the weather, the trees, all of it. It was just great. So we would get outside and we would walk to different playgrounds. We would just walk and talk and see and do all the things you do when your children are small. And eventually those walks started, picking up a little pace. And before I knew it, I was like speed walking, pushing this stroller. So I would say, if you are a person who is interested in running, maybe you want to set a goal to run like a 5K or something like that, or you just want to make sure that you are growing in your cardiovascular athletic abilities, right? Being able to run and breathe and talk and all of that at the same time. My first tip would be to become a person that walks on a regular basis. Start walking, increasing your distance, increasing your speed, being able to walk and talk, or like walk and sing the words to your favorite songs all at the same time. The breathing is super important, because the breathing is ultimately going to determine the pace, right? You want to make sure that you're running and walking at a pace where you are able to still maybe talk to somebody, and maybe it is a little breathy, right? But you're able to talk to somebody, or you're able to sing a song. Whenever you start walking or running at a pace that enables your ability to talk or sing, that means that you are moving fast, right? And that's not a bad thing if you're sprinting, right? If your goal is to sprint, that's not a bad thing. But if your goal is to be able to do this one activity for a very long period of time, you want to find that sweet spot where you're able to keep pace, but also really control your breathing. And one of the best tips as a fitness instructor that they teach us is that in order to work out and talk at the same time, you kind of have to learn to like run and talk or sing or something at the same time. And so that's the tip that I'm going to pass on to you. In order for you to find your sweet spot and what your sweet pace is that you can hold for several minutes at a time without stopping, find where your breath and your pace match up so that you are able to breathe through that speed without stopping, and you don't feel like you're about to run out of breath, right? So that's tip number 1. Become a walker and find your sweet spot with your breath and your pace, right? Another tip that I have that I think really impacts your ability to do this is having the right shoes. This is one of those things where normally I would be like, oh girl, shoes don't matter, because you're just lifting weights, right? So shoes don't matter. When you are walking and running, your shoes absolutely matter. I would also say that if you take dance classes like Zumba or Jazzercise or like mixed fit or whatever, the shoes that you use for those workouts or lifting weights or doing anything else should be completely different than the shoes you're going to use for walking and running. Try to only use your walking and running shoes for your cardio, outdoor, treadmill, whatever you're going to be doing, workouts, because you want to be able to save the miles on those shoes for when you actually need them, right? So find shoes that work for you, and you can do that by going to a shoe fitting store in your area, right? Look up a store that sells running shoes. You want to be able to go in there, have them fit you, have them look at how you run. So you might have to schedule an appointment for this, but they'll look at how you run. They'll look at how your feet hit the pavement. And they'll help you pick out shoes based on the shape of your foot, the size of your foot, and how you run. And all of that truly does make a difference if you are going to be running for long periods of time or for great distances, right? Another tip that I have is making sure your nutrition and your water is on point. And it's like, I know I get up here and I say this every episode for one reason or the other, but the food and the water thing is kind of like mastering the basics, right? once you figure out the food and water thing, it really does make everything else just so much easier. And you'll be able to tell the difference. When you haven't really eaten that well, or you're not hydrated the way you should be before going out for a walk or a run, you'll be able to tell the difference, because you will feel like you're about to run out of energy or run out of breath, or your legs will feel heavy. You will just be able to feel it in your body. So you want to make sure you're eating right and drinking enough water before getting out there and trying to walk or run. Another thing that really helped me learn to be a runner was, in the beginning, I would do walk, run intervals, right? So I would maybe walk for 30 seconds, but then I'd run for 1 minute, right? And when I say run for 1 minute, I mean my sweet spot. I'm not sprinting for a minute. I'm running that nice, casual, good pace that I know I can hold for 1 minute, right? The more I would do these intervals, the more time I would add to the run interval. And before I knew it, I was running for like maybe 5 minutes at a time. And I was really proud of myself for being able to hold a run for that long. These days, I can run about 30 minutes before I'm like, okay, girl, I need to take a break. Like this was enough, right? I think another good tip would be, as you are becoming a runner, do not run every day, right? You don't want to be out there every day, because what's going to happen is your body is going to start changing and waking up in ways that you didn't think was possible. You will be able to feel that run all over your body. So you want to definitely give yourself days in between running to recover. So initially, I would say maybe you start walking and doing the intervals maybe 3 times a week, right? If your goal is to be able to walk or run for a very long time, maybe you're training for some type of 10K or something like that, then initially you might want to make sure that one of your 3 days you are giving yourself enough time to do a longer walk run. Right now, I try to do at least one 60-minute walk run a week. And I just use the Peloton app. So the intervals on that are already like programmed for me, and I just follow what the instructor is saying. But at least once a week, I try to do at least one 60-minute cardio day. And then throughout the rest of the week, I base my cardio on what my time is going to allow. So maybe it's 20 minutes, maybe it's 30 minutes. But I really love the 60-minute days, because that's a time for me to really challenge my body and see if I can grow my my run time, right, higher than the 30 minutes. So make sure you're not trying to run every day, because you're going to need the recovery built into your schedule. I would say another really helpful thing that everybody could do would be to make a run goal. So if you are someone who is currently walking every day already, or maybe, you haven't been walking in a while and you're just now getting back out there, and if running is something that you think you want to do, I would say set a run goal. So for me, my run goal was the 30 minutes. I wanted to be able to run a 5K in 30 minutes, right? Set your own run goal. So maybe that is you want to be able to run for 10 minutes without stopping. Maybe you want to be able to do a 5K. Maybe next year you want to be able to do a 10K. Things like that. Think about where you are today and where you would like to see yourself, and then create a goal. Always knowing that, girl, the goal can change, right? You can change that goal as much as you want, right? So set a goal and then start trying to progress towards it. And then lastly, I think something that really does help most people with becoming a runner is either joining like a run group in your community, if you have one, or if you know people that run, see if you can, like get with them. Now, keep in mind, and this is the part about groups that maybe isn't my favorite. I'm not going to say I don't like it, but it's kind of like not my favorite. When you join a group as a new person, especially if the fitness levels in the group aren't all that really diverse, if everybody is running like they are triathletes, so they're running like they've been on a cross-country team their whole life, then you might join that group and feel like a fish out of water, right? Because the whole group is going to take off running and you'll feel like you're just kind of putting behind them. So if you do seek out a group, make sure that you look for a group that's kind of on your level, like a beginner's level, and maybe they have some type of coach or leader or instructor or somebody that's helping them become the runner that they want to be. You can also maybe find a friend that wouldn't mind running with you because maybe they are, a skilled runner, and they don't care about their pace and their time and like all that stuff. And they wouldn't mind running with you. So maybe find a friend. But no matter what you do, if you're going to be out there solo, just a couple things, right? Make sure that we're always running during peak hours. We don't want to be like on trails and dark paths and all those things all by ourselves, right? So make sure you're running when there are a lot of people out there running along with you. Make sure you have on something that's reflective if you're out there running before it's all that bright outside. So you want to have on something that's neon with the reflective stripes. And this next tip might not be for everybody, but it's for me. So I'm going to share it. If you do have like a little fanny pack that you wear while you run, girl, make sure you have some kind of something in there. I like to carry dog spray and I have dog spray in my bag, and I would use that on whomever should approach me in a way that I don't like or appreciate. But just make sure that if you are going to be out running, that you have some type of repellent, right? For whatever might come your way. And then also make sure that you have your phone is charged up. Make sure you've had enough water, that you did have a snack before you get out there, and, give yourself a lot of grace. Know that this is something new. Know that running is more of a mental game than anything else, because I cannot tell you how many times I've been on my treadmill, running, and my legs just feel so heavy for whatever the reason, mainly because I'm tired, right? And I just tell myself like, oh, Tia, just stop. But I have to, coach myself. I have to give myself that positive self-talk and say, girl, it's only X amount of more minutes to go. You only got 4 songs left, half a renaissance. Like, girl, we can do it. Just hang in there, right? And it will be a lot of that. But, girl, just hang in there. And then eventually, like me, you will come to a place where maybe you don't necessarily love running, but you love the way running makes you feel. And that is how I feel. I feel like maybe I'm not a person who's going to be like, oh my gosh, I love running. Let me lace up and get out here every day. And, I run for 12 miles every day. That's probably never going to be me. But I do love the way I feel when I'm done running. So if I say to myself, I'm going to run for 30 minutes today, and I'm running, and I hit the 30-minute mark and I'm done, that makes me feel really good. On my longer running days, when I'm like, okay, Tia, you're going to do this interval program. It's 60 minutes. You already know that's a long time. So let's go ahead and, mentally prepare and do this. At certain points throughout that workout, it is very challenging and it is hard. But when it ends, I'm like, dang, girl, you literally just did that for 60 minutes. And it makes me feel so good. So I would encourage everybody to set a goal, maybe use some of these tips, and see if you too cannot take advantage of this beautiful fall weather and get out there and get your steps in. Now, for the month of October, we are doing a squat and step challenge. I know a lot of people use October for Squat-tober, and I think that's great. But you know what all that squatting is going to do? It's going to make your legs very, very tight and very sore if you're not stretching and moving them around outside of your squat challenge, which is why I think squatting and counting your steps together is the perfect challenge, because the walking will flush those legs back out. It will, it's actually a very good way of like stretching your legs back out. And it's going to help with flexibility and all of that. So, join me in October for the squat and step challenge. And the challenge is we're going to get our 10,000 steps in every day, Monday through Friday. And we are going to do 100 squats a day. Now, when I say 100 squats a day, because I already posted this on Instagram and people message me like, girl, what are you talking about? When I say 100 squats a day, I mean, it does not have to be all at one time. You can split it up. You can do 10 sets of 10. right? You can do 20 sets of 5. But who could even keep up with that? You could do 5 sets of 20. You could do 50 squats in the morning and 50 squats at night. You could do 25, 25, 25, 25 all throughout the day, right? You can split it up however you want, but the goal is to, get those squats in, get the steps in, make sure you are taking time throughout the day to meditate and be grateful for everything that you have going on in your life, and make sure you have your water goal every day. Make sure you're hitting your water goal every day. That is our challenge for October. So that's a good way for us to slide on into my personal workout report. Now, like I said, September was really busy for me. September started with the trip. It ended with the trip. It was 2 birthdays mixed into there. We launched the TVF University with the online program. That was a lot of work. And let me tell you, by the time September 30th came, I was exhausted, almost to the point of tears. And I had to tell my husband that. I was like, I am so tired that I could literally almost cry. And I'm dead serious, right? I said, so in October, I will be getting back to my routine. I will be taking the time out to make sure that I am rested and relaxed, and I'm not overbooking myself and squeezing things in and doing the most, because I did the most in September and I'm tired. So in October, we will step, we will squat, and we will rest, right? So I'm looking forward to getting back to my regular workout routine of 3 cardio sessions a week. I'll be lifting and doing strength all throughout the week. I did get a chance to try the Pilates Reformer class. It was absolutely amazing. I love it. I'm a huge fan. I can see why people love it. I could feel every single part of my body by the time that class was over. And the only thing that's keeping me from becoming a member over there is the fact that that place is 45 minutes from my house on a regular Atlanta traffic day, which is never the case, right? It's always going to take me at least an hour or more to get over there. And because of that, I feel like I'll have to just be a drop-in whenever I can go. Whenever my schedule allows, I'll try to go and just deal with the traffic. But a 1-hour class is really going to take up 3 to 4 hours out of my day. So I'm going to have to figure that out and see what can go down. The other part to me that's been a little tricky with that is that one of the instructors at the place that I'm going, I was looking at Google reviews last week, and one of the instructors has really bad reviews, you guys. And because of the review, and it's consistent, the reviews for her are consistently bad. Not that she's a bad instructor. She might actually be a really good Pilates instructor, but people just say her customer service, her bedside manner, I guess, if that's another good way of putting it, it's just not the best. And for me, if I'm a drive 45 minutes to probably what's going to be an hour and a half to get over there, I can't get over there and then somebody put me in a bad mood. I can't even put myself in that situation. And then I have to drive back home all that way, probably still stuck in some amount of traffic. And I just don't like setting myself up to be irritated. So also with the way the schedule is set up, trying to find times during the day to avoid that particular instructor's classes has also been difficult. And I know one might ask, you would say to yourself, well, Tia, why don't you just go to that girl's class and see for yourself what she is like? And I'm going to say, based on somebody that used to do that girl's job, I know if that many people said the same thing about you, that, oh, honey, it's probably true. It's probably real. You might not be a bad person. I'm sure that that instructor is a great person. She might be just as sweet as she can be outside of work, but apparently at work, all that sweetness goes out the door, and I just can't. So it's a couple things there I need to figure out. But I'm hoping that I'm able to go I would like to go at least twice a month. That would make me happy. I am still planning to return to the gym. Now, the only thing that has been keeping me from doing that, like I said, is ordering headphones. And every time I place an Amazon order, I never forget to order new headphones. Now I've kind of moved on to thinking that maybe I should just get AirPods because I don't have any. And I also don't have like the little cute Beats. Like I just don't have like good grown up headphones, and I feel like I should. So now I'm thinking about maybe doing that instead. And I feel like I want to read into what's the difference between all of the different AirPods and all of the different Beats to find one that's going to work for me. But I do plan on stepping inside the gym at some point in October. Like, please hold me to that. Please hold me to it. Please hold me to it, because I really do want to go back. And I think that's it for the workout report. Now, before we wrap up, let me just say that some of the random things that have been going on with me or that I've been thinking about lately, some of them are things that I forgot to say a couple episodes ago. And I just have to say, and this is not to say I told you so, but if we could all kind of go back in time to when we were all watching The Bachelorette, and Michelle was falling head over heels in love with Nate, and I said that, oh, this is not good. This is not the one. This ain't it. Right? And I know I'm super late for bringing this up on the podcast, but by now we all know that they broke up for whatever the reason. And I just have to say, I knew that was going to happen. Like, I could tell it. Not, in this, like, no shocker, spoiler alert there, because many of the couples from these shows don't stay together. So they really aren't any different. However, we were hopeful because we wanted Michelle to have her happily ever after. And I so desperately wanted them to, like, work out since that's who she picked. But they didn't. And I feel like sometimes when the couples break up, I want the Bachelor or the Bachelorette to do a follow-up and tell us why. Like, I invested so much time watching her date all these people, watching them fall in love, watching her pick him, and, then you kind of follow them on social media and you see, how they try to coexist in each other's worlds. But then when they break up, it's like, no details. Not that we need to be all in Michelle's business, but I'm like, girl, what happened? Like, they gave y'all the money to buy a house. Could y'all not decide on where you wanted to live? Obviously, I feel like all of the Bachelor and Bachelorette people end up moving to Los Angeles anyway. So I'm like, could y'all not find a place? Like, what happened? What happened? What happened? We just want to know, because I'm sure it was Nate's fault. So what happened, girl? What'd he do? We want to know. We want to know. We are all here for you, and we want to know. But yes, if we could all I just wanted to come back and say, like, I knew he wasn't going to be it. We knew it. I could tell. I could just tell. We knew he wasn't going to work out. I watched Partner Track on Netflix this weekend because yesterday, which was Saturday, I wanted to just have a day of just like relaxing. I wanted to start October off the way I plan to spend all October, and that is in deep relaxation, right? So I'm like, let me find a show that I can get into that will force me to sit here and not move all day, because I'm going to be deep and I'm going to be invested. I started Partner Track thinking that it wasn't going to be that great. And oh my gosh, when I mean to tell you, the show got me. It got me. Like, that first episode really wasn't like good, but it was just an easy watch. It was an easy watch with enough of a plot to like take me in. It kind of gives you Sex in the City. What's that show? The Bold Type, for people who know what that show is on Hulu. It kind of gives you those kind of vibes, but everybody is an attorney. The show is about the life of these attorneys, these best friends. It's 3 of them. And of course, their love lives. And the main character has an obvious choice of a person that she should be with. Of course, she doesn't end up being with him because she goes for the bad boy. But the twist at the end literally made me say to myself, I hope Netflix brings this back for season 2, because I have to find out how this ends or how she moves on from this plot twist. I have to know. It's a really good show. It's an easy watch. If you need something that's kind of good, but at the same time kind of mindless, it will not have your emotions all over the place. So you can literally just watch it and relax and just be at peace. This is a good show for you to watch. So check it out. It's called Partner Track on Netflix. Well, like I mentioned earlier, fall is finally here. Hello. Can we all just go ahead and give a round of applause to the best season of all time? It is time for everybody to pull out their boots and their leggings and their sweaters. It's time for you to pull out all of those muted, beautiful, earth-toned colors that look great on everybody. It is time for apple seasoned and flavored everything. I know people are going to try to put pumpkin all in your face, but girl, we both know it's not good, so don't do it. It's fair season. Go to a fair, smell the foods, try some of that stuff. Ride a Ferris wheel, right? Let the crisp morning air touch your face. Check out a sunrise or a sunset. Appreciate the foliage as you're driving around and running all those errands. These are the things that I do in fall. And I'm so excited that fall season is here. It just makes me feel like more rested. Like I can just sit back and kind of relax, like, whoo, girl, I made it. I hope everyone enjoys fall season. I hope you take this time to kind of hit a reset button, because let me tell you what I learned from having a busy September, right? Which this is not, what I'm about to say is not even special to September. This is how my life is on a regular basis. I think it just was more intense this particular month. Like last month was just insane. I am one of those people who feels like I am constantly rushing from one thing to the next all the time. There is no line between any of the tasks that I do. I am constantly multitasking. So if you see me on social media, like talking and chatting, I'm probably working out while I'm doing that. Or I'm cooking while I'm doing that. Or I'm at the computer while I'm doing that. I probably have also started the dishwasher and a load of clothes in the laundry. I probably have food in the oven. I probably am waiting on a Kroger order. I'm probably writing some type of list for something, or making some type of outline, or listening to one of the lectures from the nutrition class I'm in. Or I probably just finished taking a quiz. Like I'm always doing something, more than one something at a time. There is no line between my tasks. They all kind of just blur together and weave in and out of each other all day long. And I know I'm not special in that. And this is why I'm sharing this with you. I, for the life of me, cannot seem to figure out a way to slow the pace of my own days down, right? I feel like every day there is just so much to do, and I wear myself out trying to get it all done in a day, right? Even when I tell myself, oh, Tia, just make a list for the week. Because this is my current solution and strategy for this, is I make a list for the week. And I don't stress myself out about doing any particular things on each day at any time. I just say, oh, these are the things that have to get done for this week. And as long as it's not like a set appointment, I know I can go about checking things off that list at my own pace, right? Right. You would think that would be good and that it would work for me. But what ends up happening is that even though I have the list, I still feel like in my mind all day, I'm like saying, okay, it's 5 a.m. Got to get up, got to make breakfast, got to pack these lunches. We got to get to school on time. Got to leave the house by 7:15 or they're going to be late for school. Come home, do it again with my daughter. Got to get her up, get dressed. Come on. Boom. Got to get out the door by 8:45 or you're going to be late for school. I get back home at 9 o'clock and then it's like I'm trying to determine which way should I go. It's like I'm stuck in a fork in a road and I'm like, ooh, I could go work out or I could sit down and actually work and get some of that stuff done and maybe we'll flip it. And so most days I just kind of just paper, rock, scissors myself. And I'm just like, okay, well, we'll see. Today I'll sit down and actually work and we'll see how that goes. The next day I might work out first and we see how that goes. Then with the errands and the school pickup and all that goes into school pickup, then the cooking dinner all the time, like all of it, trying to get so many things done in the course of a day that women have to do. I feel like drives me insane to the point where sometimes I say to myself, there has got to be a better way. And I know people will always say like, oh, well, you should just get help. And it's like, okay, well, I do have help. I do have help for a lot of what I used to couldn't get done. So I do. And even with having help, I still feel like most days when it is time to go to bed, I'm like, oh my gosh, that was that was a lot. Like today got me. If it was me versus the day won. Even though I'm productive, like I'm super productive and I get a lot done, it just wears me out. And so I share that to say that this month, I also want to encourage everybody to rest when you can, because that is what I plan to do. I feel like we run around a lot. We make a lot of things happen. We bring smiles to a lot of people. We are good nurturers and providers. We love hard and we love big. And because of that, we want to do all these things. And then we end up being worn out and tired. So this month, in addition to like squatting and walking and getting our water in and all that stuff, I also want everybody to take a look at their self-care routine and say to yourself, am I getting in all of the self-care that I truly need to get in order to feel the way I want to feel? And I know for me, for the month of September, the answer to that is absolutely not. I completely abandoned my whole self-care routine in September. Like I didn't go to the sauna. I didn't go out for my lunches. I wasn't doing any of the things that I know I need to do in order to feel like myself. And because of that, by the time September 30th came, girl, you could have bought me with $1 and handed me a Kleenex and I would have laid down and hugged you and took it, Yes, because I was done. My grits had been overcooked by September 30th. So this month, I want to encourage everybody to take a look at all of the things that make you happy and bring you joy and help you feel relaxed and are soothing and comforting to you. And I want us to do those things as much as we possibly can. Bring in fall the way you want to wrap up the year. And that is being in complete peace, right? Yes, that's my wish for everybody. And I think that's going to be it for today's episode. Remember, when you're out, compliment someone that you see. Tell her she's gorgeous and smart and funny and all of the things, right? Never knock another woman's hustle. Don't compare, don't compete, don't complain. What God has for you is for you. I cannot wait to talk to you again in a couple weeks. Check out the newsletter if you haven't. Please subscribe to the show, rate it, review it, join the newsletter sisterhood if you haven't already. Reach out to me if you have any questions about working with me. Girl, I will talk to you next time. Love you. Bye.
Thank you for joining me at Tia's Table. I love good girlfriend time. And if you do too, please consider subscribing to the show. Don't forget to rate and review, and be sure to follow me on Instagram for daily food and workout inspiration. Talk to you later, girl. Bye.